say those questions in exercise 1.1 on page 3 and 4, where there's a little story first. We've got to work out what the story says, and then having worked out what the story says, we can work out what the question says. So, question 4 says, in a salad dressing, so that's kind of irrelevant, the ratio of oil to vinegar. So we see that word ratio, and we see its oil is to vinegar, is 3:1. So whatever order they give the words in, that's going to be the ratio that applies to the numbers. If James makes 200 ml of the dressing, how many milliliters of vinegar are used? So you have this thing of dressing, and in total there's 200 ml. Okay, so 200 ml in total. So the key thing here is to work out, are they telling us that the oil is 200 ml? Are they telling us that the vinegar is 200 ml? What are they telling us about this 200 ml? So it seems to me that they're telling me that there's 200 ml altogether, and it's divided in this ratio 3:1. So 200 ml divided in ratio 3:1. So that's easy, isn't it? I mean, that's just like the earlier questions that we found very straightforward yesterday. So a quick reminder of how we do that. It's divided in the ratio 3:1. So altogether we have 3 plus 1 equals 4 parts. So there's 200 ml divided into 4 parts. Each part must be 50 ml. So our oil, which is going to be 3, is 3 by 50, which is 150. And our vinegar, which is 1 by 50, so it's going to be 50 ml. Now the question said, how many milliliters of vinegar are used? So our answer is this one here. Answer, vinegar equals 50 ml. Now, just to say, I suppose maths teachers, we tend to overwrite things. We tend to put down all our steps, but I do encourage you not just to write down a bunch of figures. So do try and make sure you write down your steps and label things like oil, vinegar, the ratio, and show your steps, just because it does mean if you make a slip, at least you can get some marks for what you did right. Okay, I'm going to look at question 5. We'll start it off. So question 5 is this one here. A school is given a grant of 4,800 for sports equipment for the volleyball and soccer teams. Okay. In the school, 184 students play volleyball and 296 play soccer. It's decided to divide the money in the ratio of players playing each sport. How much does each sport receive? So it's a very, very long question. Another little story that we have to work through. Got to pick out the key facts here. So what I would be looking for, first of all, is I'd be looking for the ratio. So the ratio is going to be between volleyball and soccer. Okay, isn't it? Those are the two things they're talking about, volleyball and soccer. And the ratio is going to be in the same size as the number of people that play each of them. So 184 play volleyball and 296 play soccer. So our ratio is going to be 184 to 296. Now, we could simplify that. It might be a good idea to do that, but we do have calculators, so calculators might save us having to simplify it. What are they doing with this ratio? They're taking a total of 4,800. So total of 4,800, and they're dividing it in this ratio, isn't that right? So dividing it between volleyball and soccer in the ratio of 184 to 296. So again, even though it's a long story, a long paragraph, the basic question is really easy. The basic question is, can you please divide 4,800 euro in a ratio of 184 to 296? So the steps are going to be exactly the same as we did up here. We have a total amount that we're distributing according to a ratio, so we can go on from there. So just keep working here, people. I'll just work away up here trying to work out what the question is asking. I won't finish that one off because that's straightforward. So you just keep working through. If you're not sure about something, let me know. More so than factorizing or multiplying out brackets or whatever. So I'll come back to 5 in a minute if you need me to, but for now I'll just keep going. Question 6. A teacher gives a prize of €24 to the 3 students who have made the biggest effort in her class. She decides to divide the money in the ratio of their results. If the results of the winners are 94%, 83% and 63%. So the ratios in terms of the results, and the results are 94%, 83%. So our ratio is 94 to 83 to 63. Okay, so that's our ratio. Now what are we doing? We're dividing €24. So again, the total amount is €24. So all these questions are basically the same, aren't they? We've just got a big amount of money or a big amount of something, and we're trying to divide it according to a ratio. The only thing that's different is that the ratios are a bit weird in parts, so they're strange numbers, but other than that, the method is going to be the same. So we're dividing 24 in the ratio 94 is to 83 is to 63. Okay, so I won't continue that one now. You should be able to continue that yourself. Okay, question 7 then. So this looks like to me like it's going to be the second type of question we did yesterday. So a prize is divided between Alan and Niall in the ratio 1 is to a half. So that's nice and straightforward. They're telling us what the ratio is. Alan to Niall, the ratio 1 is to a half. If Alan receives €400, so this is different because we're not being told the total amount. This time we're being told what one of the people got. So Alan got €400. Okay, and Niall, we don't know what he got. What's the total prize? So the question is looking for the total prize. So what we might just do is make this ratio into whole numbers. So we might multiply by 2 and multiply by 2 to get into whole numbers, which is 2 is to 1. We probably, in a way, we probably don't need to because we can see that Alan is getting double Niall. So if Alan's getting double Niall, then Niall will be getting half of Alan, so he'll be getting 200. So the total prize will be Alan's prize plus Niall's prize so €600 is going to be the total prize. One of the reasons for making that into whole numbers is because in the next question the ratio is definitely in fractions. So you've got 2 lengths of pipe are in the ratio a half is to 3/4. So straight away I'd be thinking I want that to be in whole numbers. So I want to be able to change it to whole numbers. So how am I going to change halves and quarters to whole numbers? What would I multiply by? Any suggestions? Somebody say? 4. Yeah, great, thank you. So I'm going to multiply by 4 because 4 is the smallest number that 2 and 4 both go into. So I'm going to do 4 by a half, which is 2, and 4 by 3/4, which is 3. So my ratio is actually 2 is to 3. If you wanted to, you could also just rewrite a half as 2/4 is to 3/4, and then you can see straight away that the ratio is 2 is to 3. So either of those. Yeah, Jury. Sure, yeah. So 2 is to 3 is our ratio. If the longer piece of pipe is 45 centimeters, so the longer piece. So looking at this, we've got to decide which of these is the longer. Well, it's quite clear, I think, that this is the longer piece. So the longer piece is 45 centimeters. So now we can see we're back to the previous type of question. We know that the 3 parts is 45 centimeters, and we have to find out the shorter piece of pipe. Okay, so 3 parts equals 45 centimeters, so 1 part must equal 15 centimeters. So this piece of pipe was 3 parts, it was 45. This piece of pipe is 2 parts, so the shorter piece is 2 parts. So it's going to be 2 by 15, which is 30 centimeters. Any questions at this stage? I'm just externally processing here to try and show you what I'm thinking when I'm coming to a question, which is hopefully helping. It may be that you're flying through these, that you're not having any issues with these, which is great. And some people's minds just work like that as well. They work really easily on numerical stuff, which is brilliant. I'll just go back, while you're working through that, I'll just go back and finish the other questions off that we did earlier. So, this one here. So for the soccer volleyball one, I got that volleyball got 1,840 and that soccer got 2,960. If you disagree with that, let me know in case I've done something wrong there with my calculations. And then question 6 is a little bit weird because when I add up all the ratios together I get 240. So I'm trying to divide 24 euro into 240. So I may just want to add in some zeros there. So 24 euro divided by 240 will give me, I think, 10 cent, won't it? 2400 cent divided by 240, yeah, will give me 10 cent per part. So for every percentage they get in their score, they're going to get 10 cent. So the person that got 94% is going to get 94 times 10 cent, which is 940, which is €9.40. The person who got 83% is going to get 83 by 10 cent, which is 830, which is €8.30. And the person who got 63% is going to get 63 by 10 cent, which is €6.30. So hopefully that's not causing any trouble. I'm going to do question 7 part 3. So again, I'm writing down my information. I don't need to, it doesn't really matter that your man's name is Colin. He has 2 kids whose ages are 9 and 4. So the ratio, that's the ratio he's going to use to divide up the money that he won in the lottery. So we don't know what the sum of money is. That's what we're trying to find. So find the total sum is what we're being asked. So he won a sum of money playing the lottery and decided to divide it between his 2 children in the ratio of their ages. So this is their ages, 9:4. The younger child gets 340. So we know, I presume, the 4-year-old's youngest, obviously. So they got €340. And we're trying to find out how much the total is. So we should have enough information here. So the youngest child got 4 parts and they got 340. So 4 parts must equal 340. So it would be helpful to find out what 1 part is. So 1 part is 340 divided by 4, which is 85. So the other child must have got 9 of those. Isn't that right? So 9 times 85, which equals, what, 765, I think. 9, 5, so 45, 9, 8, so 72, yeah, 765. So the older child must have got 765. So altogether the total sum, or the total prize, was 765 plus 340. So 1105. Seems like a very strange amount of money, but I suppose that's how it works. Any questions so far on these? Just working away. Okay, great. Part 4. Ross makes biscuits, mixing sugar and flour in the ratio 6:9. Okay, so our ratio is to do with sugar and flour. I wonder what biscuits he's making, but anyway. 6:9. If he uses 180 grams of sugar, how much flour is used? So he uses 180 grams of sugar. So this is 180 grams. So again, from the little story they gave us, we've extracted the ratio, which is 6:9, and we've extracted the other piece of information, which is 180 grams of sugar. Because this ratio is sugar to flour, then our whole amounts are also going to be set up with sugar and flour. And again, we can see now that 6 parts must be 180 grams. So 1 part would be 180 divided by 6, which is 30 grams. So 9 parts, which is the flour, will be 9 times 30, which is 270 grams. So how much flour is used is 270 grams of flour. So all the time we're trying to find 1 part and work from there. So if we're given the total and we're given the ratio, we add the ratio together to get and divide to get 1 part. If we're given an amount and given a ratio, like in this one, we're told that 6 parts are 180. We divide by 6 to get 1 part. Okay. So 7 part 5. A piece of wood. Hopefully it's getting really easy now, because although the stories are getting shorter, of course, but also hopefully you're getting used to working out what's the important information. So a piece of wood is cut in the ratio of 5:2:1. I'm just going to do a little sketch here, because then we can break up the boring, just writing. Okay, so it's in the ratio of 5:2:1. Not a very good sketch, but anyway, 5:2:1. If the shortest piece, so the shortest piece is obviously this one. If the shortest piece is 120 centimeters, it's a very long piece of wood, isn't it? I don't know whether I'm mistaken in thinking that's a bit big, but anyway, 120 centimeters is 1 part. And now we have to work out the length of the other 2 pieces. So again, you see, once we've unpacked what it's asking us and written down our ratio, 5:2:1, and we know that the smallest, the shortest, so that's the shortest, and that's 120. Once we do that, it suddenly becomes really easy. Okay, so it's really just working out how to translate those 2 things.